Hi, folks. It's been far too long. Welcome back to the Gamesline podcast. I'm John. I'm hosting. I'm here. With me for this episode is Maverick. Maverick, how are you doing?
You know, I've been a lot of ways, and I realize this is probably also my first episode of the new year.
Well, Happy New Year, 3 months in. Almost
yeah,
4.
You know, it might be. Someone could quote me on this, I know, but just, man, yeah, it's been going.
Well, welcome to this once again. It's been like a whole month gone and still no word from us. Which did actually remind me of something else that I have to put on here, actually.
The train was delayed, as what happens. Don't be mad at your local conductors. Be mad at your mayor and your governor and your president. Go back right now. We're planning it. No.
Look, I'll be honest, like completely upfront. Like we've just been, all all of our jobs have been all over the place, and Lorelai got fucking injured recently, so she couldn't edit podcasts.
She battled a actual chainsaw man, and she survived, but she took a heavy dole from it. She's better though. She's getting better.
Yeah, I will be honest. I'm not fully in remembrance of exactly how far on the mend she is currently, but I think she's in podcast editing state now. At least I hope. We will find out soon enough. But hey,
we'll find out for how long it takes to get this in.
Exactly. We're recording this on the 24th of March. I will just say that. How about that? Just to kind of ground us, I guess, just to let you all know where we're at.
It's
at this
a grounding,
particular moment.
But then even then, that's also got some change to it coming up. We are in momentum. There's a lot of just momentum everywhere. I think is the best way to categorize it.
It is all up in the air. The days are going by way too fast. It's a lot. But we're here tonight. We're here to talk about games and what we've been up to this past month. I mean, for me, I've been mostly playing one game. I did play another one that I can talk about, but I mean, I have just, during my gaming spare time, I have just been playing Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth.
Yeah.
Just wringing out every little drop of water out of that game. I haven't done I haven't grinded every mini game to its full potential. I'm not going to do that to myself, but I'm going to platinum that game, which is definitely far more reasonable than I think a lot of the other Like a Dragon games have been in the past. Because it's not like, oh, hey, you have to become a master of Mahjong to get a trophy in this one. No, it's just this one feels way more reasonable, I would say. Because it just kind of happened. I got up close to the end of the game and I just looked at my trophies and I was just like, oh shit, no, I got 6 more. Okay. And 3 of these are chapter clearing trophies. But yeah, that's mostly what I have been doing. Maverick, how far are you in Infinite Wealth?
So I'm up to around chapter 7.
Okay.
I assume that's the midway point, but it still feels like there's so much to get to that I truly don't know. But I've been not trying to rush myself into it because I think I saw how this year's release window looked like, and Infinite Wealth has been the one game that I was actually anticipating because I think everything else was in its own sort of niche, or I'm not the biggest Final Fantasy head. I'm going to say that first and foremost. So Rebirth didn't really matter to me that much. But Dragon's Dogma 2, it seems a lot of fun. I definitely might want to pick that up after I finish Infinite Wealth and just, keep that in the rotation. But everything else, yeah, was either stuff that I knew I could play more like cohesively, or was a surprise if I did get into it. And those I can talk about a little bit more as well. But Infinite Wealth has been so much fun.
Mm-hmm.
It's been great to. I think like there was a hint of this in The Man Who Erased His Name, of just like, okay, if when they say, oh, we're gonna have one more Kiryu game, and realizing that everyone kind of like groaned at that, they kind of just went in saying, oh no, we're gonna step in it a little bit. And they really are showing that like there's still something left in the tank for Kiryu, which I appreciate. I know, John, you had mentioned it before, like off mic. Like, I wouldn't call Yakuza 6 a bad send-off, but it definitely had a lot of pieces to it that felt just not like cohesive enough for what they were leading into of this like send-off to a new character.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it makes sense that these next two games would come in, or these next three games really, with like a dragon included, just being like yeah, you know, there's a lot more to the homie from Kamurocho, but it feels like they're leaning into a lot more of a like finality, just from what I've played so far.
It's interesting. I mean, I haven't finished it yet, but there's almost like a bit of there's almost like an unsure aspect to that at times. You know, just if this is really going to be Kiryu's last hurrah. But it feels way more earned than just being like, we'll bring him back. Yeah, we know you love that guy. We're not going to get rid of him. It doesn't feel like that. It's just like it's actually about like Kiryu trying to decide if this is going to be his final battle or not at times. And that feels very, very strong. That feels very poetic. Because it does still feel like it could go either way. It really does. So it's, you know, we're gonna see. But no, yeah, absolutely. Like 6 definitely felt like they just wanted to put a cap on it, and 7 was this passing of the torch. But it does feel like maybe they stepped back and said, you know what? We didn't wrap up Kiryu's story the best. He's one of the game characters of all time. Ichiban is also one of the game characters of all time, so they can interact, they can, you know, they can bounce off of each other, they can have more time together, and we can really dig deep into what happened to Kiryu after 6 and see the kind of man that he was after he lost everything. And so I am looking forward to playing Gaiden as well. Which that'll probably be a bit in the future. I want to play something non like a dragon after I finish Infinite Wealth, which hopefully will be very soon. I think I just have like a handful of things left to do.
Yeah, not for me. Mainly because I know you like touched a bit on it the last times that we've like come to discuss it, and for those who are wondering, we probably are going to have like another extended like spoiler pod to talk about it in full, because it ended up being another game that like a bunch of us are playing. A bunch of us do have like thoughts on as well, and I'd love to get that discussion going. But for now, Dondoko Island, very fun. Like, I'm glad that I put the time in to just blitz through it in a week, not because I'm just done with it now, but because it was like sort of it was a good, I think, diversion, and also something where it felt like, you know, not every day when I played did I have the full time to devote to like another story beat, but I at least had enough time to go into the mini narrative of trying to help out and like restore the island to its like former glory. And then also just doing a bunch of the side stories and getting a bit like, it's good that it doesn't feel bloated. It's definitely large, but like again, just pertaining to my case of having maybe an hour or two before, going to bed or having other like social obligations because I'm trying to like be more deliberate about that, or like just a bunch of this stuff that can come up. Time with Ichiban feels much more deliberate that way.
Mm-hmm.
And I think in general, like, I don't know if this is the case of every Like a Dragon game. It might be something more that like shows up over time, but the thematics towards, or like the themes of just like what every side story is going to be about are pretty fun here, because of the fact that so much of it is like, here's the hapless hero trying to learn about love.
Mm-hmm.
And so a lot of sub stories are, hey, here's this local legend, or here's this like local thing that's going on. I'm a dunce in love. Can you help me out? Or like, just I love the juxtaposition of Ichiban, who like is a very loving person in general and just exudes so much like kindness and willingness to see the good in people. Oh God, I love him. That's my boy right there.
Yeah, like I talked about it on Twitter recently, but like one of my favorite sub stories was the sub story where he's like called out on the street by this like a weeaboo director guy who has a TV show where he interviews people, and he's like so excited because he's like, oh my god, I met a real Japanese person. And the dude is like doing all these fucking microaggressions of being like, okay, Mr. Ichiban, like wear this like rice patty hat and do all this epic honorable samurai shit. And Ichiban is just like, man, this guy's whack. But also, I can tell he's very, very passionate about Japan, and he's very passionate about Japanese filmmaking. So he just like, there's the whole like bit where you have to fight somebody, but like at the end of it, he's just like, take that passion and put it into something good. Don't just sit there and be blindly like, OMG Japan. Like, you love Kurosawa, dude. Make a film based on like Kurosawa. Like, watch Kurosawa films and take that from it. Don't just take it's from Japan from it. Take what he did in those movies. And the guy improves himself based on that. And then the dude who is bullying the director for being such a weeb gets his own sub story later. And so Ichiban even welcomes the dude he beats a dude's ass, and then like 2 hours later is helping him be a better director. Like, that's the kind of guy Ichiban is. It's wonderful.
Yeah, and just it occurs in so many other ones too, or just like, again, the juxtaposition of him seeing like what people do to show their affection. Like Tony's Lemonade Stand, great little story about like the way those first feelings come up. The story with the high school couple and the I love that there's like just a bunch of just random ass traditions that come up. And so there's the one where it's like, you got to stand in this place where your lover is buried in the sand. Or like, you got to give them the blue lei made by this flower. Cut to, all right, we found where like these flowers are. Why is there a sumo match happening? It still keeps the zaniness, but like having that central theme to it, I think, is really fun. And especially, again, like 6 is my like, it's my weird just central point of everything is building up to this moment of release. And part of it is that those sub stories really focus on this idea of Kiryu as like the everyman, and just all these things he could have done if he wasn't just so wrapped up in being a part of the Yakuza, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or like was not as high of the status that he is, which I assume 3 is also a little bit apart. Like it's all these things. Kiryu's whole story is that he kind of just wants to stop, but because of the way that things are, down to like, I'm gonna call him Oyabun, but like Kazuma Fuma, like his adoptive dad was also the reason why he just got brought into the whole fold. And that's been his trajectory. And so originally I wanted to do this as just like a whole series retrospective, but I am at least, queuing into these things that make him. And that lead to just this whole, like, juxtaposition. And I'm glad that the game is leaning into it as well. Like, there are moments where they are immediately going, oh, hey, do you remember the first game? Do you remember the second game, the third game? Do you remember the other times that this, like, tension, like, was brought up? And it's so good that they're leaning into that because of the fact that, again, I'm putting on my, like, other profession hat for a minute. Kiryu is a child of trauma. Like, he is very much someone that has not been able to fully, like, isolate that, but is speaking through it and speaking on it. Ichiban, definitely similarly, but I think the fact that, like, rather than being so close in through the, like, Sunflower Orphanage and instead being raised up in a soapland, being raised not just by, like, one manager, but then several of the escorts who are in there, several of just, like, people before going in to, like, his own, like, into his dad's, like, family for the Yakuza. It's the Arakawa family. There we go. I was trying to remember the names. But, like, yeah, before going to the Arakawa family, he has, like, a whole opportunity to be sociable, to be, like, still in that, like, underworld, but understanding that there's a lot more to it. And that really shows in the way that, like, despite that time in jail, he's still a sociable person. He's still someone that people are, like, drawn to, that, like, you want to get to. And part of it, like, I think is very much the writing. It's very funny that both the writers and translators are cluing in on just, like, this, like, group of 40-year-olds that are very, very aware about how to keep up in, like, the social climate of 2024. Like, that first scene after Ichiban fucks up his date with like, Saiko, and Nanba and Adachi are just there, like, yeah, man, like, what were you trying to go with there? You sounded a little sexist. That was kind of a microaggression, man. Like, that part's hilarious, but then it's also just very true. And I can believe it from the other characters because of the fact that they've spent so much time. Like, it's the fact that everybody else just feels so uplifted. And that's, like, Ichiban's superpower. And it's nuts. Like, especially with how dark the series can get, to just have this, like, generator of, like, positivity where, like, I'm trying to get to another point, but just, like, it colors the series in a way that feels so rejuvenating. And I think it's cool to see that also show up in the gameplay and the side quests and just, like, what they're wanting to, like, experiment with too. Sujimon as a whole side game is fucking incredible.
It's so good.
And that whole, like, sub-story was a lot of fun to just, like, get through and just have that whole experience with.
Good ass game. Good ass game, but also, man, am I ready to move on to another one? I'm not like sick of it. I'm just like, I am ready to play more video games.
Yeah, it's the fact that just like the other games I want to play are like long-term JRPGs as well.
Yeah.
Is where it's like, I gotta at least finish this one. The other ones I can get to and I can be less like worried about, but this one I can do it.
Absolutely. Do we want to talk about news stuff? Because there's a lot of news, are there any games that you want to hop on real quick?
I figure we can get into some of this news because it's a lot.
All right. Okay, here I'll try to hit some of the stuff that's like smaller or stuff that we can't really talk too much about. Because I mean, one of the things on here is about Final Fantasy XIV. You're looking at the wrong people. Talk about that.
It's coming. It's coming soon. It's coming this year.
Early access June 28th, full release July 2nd. I don't know what the difference between like how do you get early access?
No idea. Maybe it's a content creator thing. It's gonna be a Dawn Trail summer.
It is. Once again, I feel very bad for all the fighting game players who are going to be at CEO because this is dropping at like the same time. And it's what, like a week after the Elden Ring DLC, right?
Something like that. Shadows of the Erdtree's coming out sometime this year.
Yeah, I think that there was a Yoshida when he was talking about this. He said like he was just straight up like, "All right, everybody, you have a week to play the Elden Ring DLC. I want to play it. I know you want to play it. Let's finish it in a week, and then we can play Dawn Trail." Like, he was just straight up saying that. Like, all right, man. Like, yeah. And they actually bumped SMT5 Vengeance up a week, so that way it wasn't on the same day as the Elden Ring DLC, which is probably smart. Even though that thing is going to be another 80 hours, so it's probably going to be way longer than the Elden Ring I don't fucking know.
Something like that. Again, like, release dates don't exist.
Yeah, hey, guess what? Whenever it's there for you, play it when you can. Let's see here. What else do we have? There's been a lot of like shutterings and businesses having shakeups and other stuff like that going on. It's kind of, let me see here. So, I guess first one we could talk about here is that Rooster Teeth got shut down in the past like month since we've been around. A local company. I keep forgetting that they were in Austin. But not anymore because they got shut down by Warner. Pretty fucked up, I would say. Like, not a huge fan of a lot of the stuff that they do, but those are people's jobs, and that was, I mean, they fucking like created Machinima, which is a pretty big, or at least like popularized it, right? Like Red vs. Blue was like at least the most popularized version of it.
Yeah, so, like a pioneer of a lot of stuff. I mean, what is it? If I'm remembering correctly, the podcast outlet The Roost is still up and running.
They're still going with that, yes.
So like that is fine. Our buddies up in Montreal and Vancouver are still doing well.
Mm-hmm.
But that whole thing is just gone.
Mm-hmm.
Which, I don't know, at this point, it's like I've seen so many things. Again, ultimately, the culprit is venture capital, is this whole perspective of needing some, like, breaks because, as I'm understanding, people got very greedy through the pandemic, and now that everything is kind of just catching up because of the return from tax breaks, there's just a general, like, rush to skim down as fast as possible.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just really, it's awful considering that what's being skimmed isn't like, paychecks for executives and like third tier, like class chief. No CEOs are taking pay cuts, but then there are multiple layoffs happening like to mitigate that. It is so just ridiculous. And this is more so just because of the labor laws that currently are in effect. I'll at least point my hand to that, especially in an era of like, oh man, Nintendo's such a nice company, with at least in like Nintendo Japan. And it's like, yeah, because Japan has very specific labor laws.
Yeah.
And in America, I can toss a rock virtually and I'll know at least 3 contracted workers from Nintendo.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, just, like, been through a lot. Also had its own share of, like, foibles as well. So it's not like I'm looking at this with, like full on sadness. It's more like, you know, you look at a house, you get two choices. You can renovate it from the inside, or you can just like knock it down if the foundation is just rotted to the core.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Rooster Teeth was a case of like a full on rot. You definitely could have at least had more space to work through, but you know, that is an avenue that can't be worked on anymore.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I do hope that folks land on their feet as much as they could. Yeah, I mean, I didn't even know that they like had. They were like so entrenched in like Warner Brothers stuff. They had a friggin' like a Peacemaker making of podcast going on at one point. That's pretty crazy. But yeah, apparently they are looking for sale options for stuff like Red versus Blue and Ruby. I mean, I think Red versus Blue just like did their last season, so it must be some kind of like just selling the IP, I guess, which is probably a really weird can of worms because that's still tied to like Halo and Microsoft and all that. But I'm absolutely sure that someone will buy Ruby off of them, because if Ruby doesn't get its proper conclusion, the Japanese community will fucking lose their minds. Like all I know about Ruby these days is that it is huge in Japan. So I don't know, maybe some fucking anime studio will just straight up buy it and then just like finish it as an anime.
Yeah, maybe.
Because I mean, they already did the fucking like remake of the first season as an anime. So at this point, why don't they just make it an anime? Just make the whole show anime this time.
Yeah, might as well. But yeah, again, it's a pattern that just sucks to see. There are so many more that we could name at this time, but it's just like, again, what news changes outside of this organization has shuttered, has been closed down, people lost their jobs, and we're now trying to figure out how to pivot collectively.
Mm-hmm. It's happening again and again and again. Like, what else can we say? I don't know. Do we want to keep talking about like stuff like this? Because this is a lot.
I mean, it's one of our big stories, so we could like get in about that.
Let's see. Yeah, that was one of the big ones. Alright, we could talk about what's going on with Kotaku right now, because Jesus. Kotaku's editor-in-chief, Jen Glennon, resigned this past week, because the editorial... Is that you, or is that the bot? Bastard?
I think that might have been me.
Okay, well, it should be okay. Because apparently the new edict from the upper management is that the staff needs to make 50 guides a week. And so Jen Glennon said, hell no, and got out of there, which I can't fully blame them for that. But, I mean, the one thing that I would like to, like, again, I'm not trying to be, like, a smartass about this. I would genuinely like to know, like, they do have a union, right? Like, what powers would their union have to fight back against this? Because this is obviously a very bad idea. It is, like, pushing back against what Kotaku is as a website, you know, because they do have, like, their guides and their, like, little SEO help pages and all that, but I don't fucking know.
It is very, like, fraught, I think is the word I would say.
Mm-hmm.
So, the union that Kotaku is under is GMG Union. So looking, a great start of it, we're looking at like the Twitter page, but no, so back in like 2022, Geo Media, which incorporates, Let me see here. Workers at Gizmodo, Jalopnik, Jezebel, Kotaku, QZ, The Root, all of these, writing verticals that are now owned by Geo Media, which is run by CEO Jim Spanifeller, which that name you will see time in and time out.
Mm-hmm.
There's a tentative deal that was presented, and so I'm trying to see if there's any official continuations, because the strike itself started 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And so just making sure that I have sort of my timeline up. But I would say the thing there is that it's difficult to fully provide representation if there's nothing that's necessarily what is it? A shift from guides to articles,
Mm-hmm.
On paper, that is still written work that is being paid for under the union contract service that is there. Maybe they're saying, oh, this many guides equates to this work that we are still contractually paying you for.
Right.
It is not necessarily out of the scope. It is not like Kotaku is asking for them to write something completely new. It is still in focus of what that vertical is. This is all I would assume the litigious route of just making sure what's being asked for sucks, but isn't a full setup. However, I am seeing, as retweeted by the union, Kotaku staff at a somewhat productive meeting with management expect news to continue coming from us, at least for now. So it seems like the full-on push has braked a little bit, but not without, a loss of an editor-in-chief, which is now, their second EIC within the last 7 months to just be taken out because of this mismanagement. And, yeah, a CEO that just looks at SEO rather than what people really just want to, read. And so...
I mean, not barely even that. They were all these. Everyone was saying we were getting readership up. It was fine, and if we were just gonna shift to guides, it would not succeed. The last editor-in-chief, Patricia Hernandez, which personally I'm not a huge fan of, but she did say the reason why that she got fired was because she was arguing with the upper management about continuing to post about Tears of the Kingdom after it released, continuing to do coverage on it. And it's every other website would be posting hey, here's this cool new thing that people found. Hey, here's this new even if you're doing guides, there's guides that you would be doing hey, someone found out about this thing that makes it easier to do this. You keep up with the game. It's a game that people are going to continue to be playing. There is not a cutoff date. And to truly get great game, you can go back to years later and talk about,
Yeah.
It's just, it's boneheaded. It's not the way that people actually interact with video games media. It's not, you can't treat it like the news, where it's just we have to move on to this next piece of news because we're just trying to inform people. It's enthusiast press. It is people trying to get more from it by sparking up conversation, by people having opinions, by covering the ongoing updates over the games, because these days when games come out, they're a lot of the times not even done. They need updates, and people want to get updates on that, and it's a different beast. And trying to treat it like anything else is completely foolhardy.
Currently I'm trying to scrub through highlight reel. Former Kotaku guy Chris Person's roundup of clips. What is it? The roundup of amazing clips from around the gaming world. and trying to find at least like, oh yeah, there's probably still like Tekken coverage there, but it's like, or sorry, not Tekken coverage, Tears of the Kingdom coverage, but in that there's still clips people are sending in about Valorant. Like Helldivers is a big one. Spider-Man 2 is something people are still like finding stuff in. There's still stuff about Lethal Company. There's Baldur's Gate 3 coverage still, well after it's been like, its moment. So the idea, like, that it's what's so, I think, difficult about this space between news and then enthusiast, like, involvement.
Mm-hmm.
Where, yeah, like, someone that it would be so removed from this stuff wouldn't understand the enthusiast perspective. I would talk with Chris at times too of just like the experience of being around people who are like in higher echelons of this whole media landscape, and it is like wild to see people just so removed from what is like a general common consensus of taste. It's nuts. And yeah, just to, I think, provide the idea of where things are at in relation to the union, in relation to just like, again, the general media outlet that is Geo Media. Mm-hmm. As of last November, so back in 2023, laid off 23 people across Deadspin, Gizmodo, IO9, Jalopnik, Jezebel, Kotaku, The Onion, The Art Department, Quartz, and as of now, Jezebel fully is just entirely shut down.
Yeah.
I know, again, like maybe it seems like old news, but it's easy to forget all of these just perpetual, like, yeah, just these perpetual shutterings that are just so draining because of how quick they are.
It's fucking bad right now. Yeah, I mean, I hope that this goes better for Kotaku's staff because they are doing. There's good work to be had there. Like, I don't want to talk about it too much because it's fucking stupid, but all this shit that's going on with the fucking Sweet Baby stuff, like, it's important to cover it for the most part. I mean, I think part of it is maybe giving attention to stupid idiots, but also, if you're a big game website and you're not small like us, I understand why you would want to, like, at the very least, like, lay the facts out and be like, look, these people are dumb. Don't get wrapped up in this. Don't listen to them. That makes sense.
You have your phone. Google what a consulting firm is.
Yes, please. Use your brain.
You're big. You're powerful. You have so much power in your body. You can take the 10 seconds to Google, hey, what is this? And think to yourself, do I care about this enough? And you go on about your day.
Yes, exactly. Be a little bit more normal today. Everybody. Thank you.
You are not a person that is like crying about woke or whatever.
It is known. Okay. So, what else is going on? Okay. This one is kind of tied in with the rest of the stuff, but it's more just really sad, than anything. Larian, the creators of Baldur's Gate 3, just straight up said, hey, folks, we're not going to do any more of that. At their GDC panel, they just said, yep, we're not doing any DLC, we're not doing any expansions, we're not doing a sequel, we're not going to fucking do, we're not going to do any more D&D stuff, because Wizards of the Coast fired a bunch of people that they worked with from the D&D brand, so they don't want to have anything to do with it anymore. And that makes perfect sense. And that is just Hasbro and Wizards of the Coast just shooting themselves in the foot extremely. Like, one of the biggest, best regarded games of last year And they could have easily have just been like, yeah, you know what, Larian, make a bunch of DLCs, make a sequel, we're going to keep this, you guys are in charge now. Instead, they don't have shit in that department. It's one and done. Larian's going to go off and do great stuff that people are going to love, and it's just not going to have the D&D license, but people know Larian Studios now, and they're going to know, hey, this is a good game. And Wizards and Hasbro no longer have that team that made such a fantastic project real. So, oops.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but at least Larian is able to just provide a context that I think is helpful to have, and also just shows, in the middle of all this difficulty, there is still the ability to keep your own personhood, to keep your own community of, workers, and to be able to say, hey, we've got stuff that we can do. They fucked us over enough. We're not going to keep this machine pumping anymore. We'll do what we can to give it the send-off, but then, reading up that Larian is also the divinity guys. Yeah, totally. They can steep into more divinity. They could steep into other, I'm sure, high fantasy options that could be available. Wouldn't be surprised if the guys behind Pathfinder wanted to do anything there. This is no actual sponsoring for Pathfinder, in case those guys are weird in their own way. But high fantasy is such a broad genre that you don't need Wizards of the Coast to provide that for you. They can step out of the Forgotten Realms and do something else that'll provide that space, and I'm sure gamers would be even more excited to mess with.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they are screwing by trying to take shortcuts and by undermining workers. They are shooting themselves in the foot in the long run. That is what's just going to keep happening. You look at Magic the Gathering, them chasing after those short-term sales, and now people are pissed at them. All I see are people being like, man, I love Magic the Gathering as a game. I like these new cards, but also they're fucking killing us with releasing all these, making all these releases constantly and not listening to consumers and just being boneheaded and then firing people and trying to use AI art when, a big part of Magic the Gathering is people knowing different artists and stuff and being like, yeah, I love this particular artist. I like when they get to do card art. They're fucking themselves. They are constantly fucking themselves, and it is so sad to watch. They could just keep going the way they were going and make good money. That it's always chasing after that number going up forever. It's not gonna, and pretty soon it's gonna stop going up, and they're gonna have to fucking deal with it.
Yeah. Watch out, Wizards of the Coast. More people are going to learn about Powered by the Apocalypse systems. They're going to learn about the Fate system now, because Larian's going to teach people how to roll 2 6-sided dice instead of 20-sided.
Mm-hmm. Let's talk about what we've been playing. Let's ease on the brakes a bit, because it's been that was a lot, and there's still more stuff going on.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Oh boy. Maverick, do you want to speak on a game that you've been playing, perhaps?
Yeah, sure. I can talk about doing crack.
Yeah, let's hear it.
Yeah, so in the last couple of months, a certain game came out called Balatro.
Yeah, I have been made aware, but...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. God. For those with fully no idea of what Balatro is, it is a card-based roguelike that is all about playing hands of poker.
Mm-hmm.
So the presentation is I would say, a trippy online poker simulator.
Mm-hmm.
But you immediately get introduced to Jimbo, the Joker, was just like a little Joker card that's like, hey, you're playing the game. Here's how to play. And the whole idea around Balatro is that you have different levels called antes.
Mm-hmm.
So at every ante, you have 3 different rounds. A small blind, a big blind, and a boss blind. You can play each of them. But the idea that you sort of start out with is you click on the small blind. You are then presented with a poker hand, like straight up poker, not Texas Hold'em. So with your little deck of 52 cards, you're responsible in however many hands that you have available. So let's say you can play 3 hands for this round or for this blind, and you are supposed to make X amount of chips using those hands. Each poker hand, and these are just straight up like high card, pair, 2 pair, 3 of a kind, full house, 4 of a kind, your straights, straight flushes, your flushes. Just using those poker hands, where let's say you play a pair, and it's a pair of 2s. Each of those 2s gets counted, and so you'll gain 2 chips, because that's what the card is worth. It'll then be multiplied based on whatever the multiplier that like a 2 pair has, which is like 2. So in that hand, you would get like 40 chips. You do all the math, like the game does all the math for you.
Right.
You have the option to discard cards if you want as well. That's also limited per blind. And so trying to figure out just the optimal cards that you can play in order to get the chips needed to pass on to the next round. Eventually you hit, after the small and big blind, you hit the boss blind, which will be poker. Same idea, except there's a difference now. Like, any card you play that's in the heart suit doesn't count. And so you could play the hand, but that's just going to be like zeroed out. And you won't get the chips that you would normally. So, you're sitting there, you're thinking, oh shit, how am I going to, bounce past that? At the end of every round, you have the option to go to a shop. But in general, there are some little tricks that Balatro gives you to not necessarily play poker, but be really good at just using the technicality of rules in order to get your bullshit going.
Mm-hmm.
So you have access to Joker cards, which are these cards you get every time that you're going through a run, or they can be picked up at the shop, they can be something that you get through other effects, but basically these can affect the amount of chips you get, the multiplier. They can affect, like, there's a Joker that if you have it in your, and you can keep up to 5 Jokers in one like run, so you can always sell any to make room for more. If there's any that suck, you can just like toss them out. There's some that have the conditional of like, oh, I'll give you like a ×3 multiplier, but there's a 1 in 4 chance that I like go away right after I like do that. A lot of just like fun, like shuffling around to figure that out. There's a card that like makes it so that straights and flushes, hands that normally need 5 cards, can be played with 4. And so that changes up as well, sort of like what you're looking out for. Or cards like a Joker that makes it so that hearts and diamonds are the same suit, clubs and diamonds, or clubs and spades get counted as the same suit. Alongside your Jokers, you have Arcana cards that can affect the actual playing cards you have, and so they can like add a multiplier of their own if you play it in a hand. If you just have it in your like hand and don't play it, that might make it a multiplier. Just all these other things that can affect your playing cards as well. There's planet cards that just level up the worth of your hand. So if you've just been having a run where you've been playing a bunch of pairs, you can get planet cards that make it so that like you're just leveling it up. So instead of like, 20 chips with a ×2 multiplier for this pair of 2s, that's now like 100 chips at like 5 or whatever gets just nutty. And that's not even getting to like spectral cards. And there are so many little like layers to what goes in. But the thing about Balatro is that it is such a pure distillation of what makes roguelikes fun for me, I think. Of just, I'm going in. I'm going to try meeting the game at its level for the first time. And then from there, I'm just strategizing. How do I just cheese out the system so that I can get to the end as best I can? I've been playing it for a while, and I think just like last week, I got my first win.
Damn.
Others have been getting multiple. I know there's videos of Northern Lion just like deep in the weeds of, you know, figuring out multipliers and getting all these like setups so that, you know, why does he have 10 jokers? Oh, that's part of the game. Why is that part of the game? Because they want you to just rip it apart as best you can, knowing that, you know, if you aren't on top of it at all times, or if you don't like find yourself settled into a game strategy, you're gonna get fucked.
What a fucking game. Like, everything I see of it, it looks super fun, but also very, very addicting and overwhelming, and just it looks like a lot. It looks like a whole lot. But I'm glad
it's good that there's no like timer aspect to it. It's very helpful that there's no just like, you know, urgency. You can just sit there, let a hand play out as you're like trying to figure it out. It is the feeling of just like having poker on your PC, but
fucked
at
up
the same time. But fucked up.
Positive.
But it's still as fucked up as regular poker because you will spend hours on it and not realize.
Yeah.
It's also got like a little like Muzak track on the background that is the only song. Like during the boss blinds, you'll get like a variation on it, or like you'll have some other instrumentation to layer on top of it for like, you know, you pick a spectral card or a tarot card, you're gonna, and it just like does a little fun stuff in the background. It's very much like a game that can be relaxing if you kind of just don't care. But as soon as you get locked in, it's like life or death.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And if you're wondering, like, just like add to it as well, I said, oh yeah, I beat it. Like, I got to my last ante and I managed to like get through it. Well, what comes next? You unlock so many jokers, you unlock so many card packs. And so I started out with a red deck, which just means that with every ante, I get an additional discard that I add to my total. So I started at 3. After that, I start with 4, then 5, then like upward like that. Blue deck, which I'm trying to like test out, just adds hands instead of discards. And so figuring out the flow for that. There are so many other decks that you get along the way that have their own conditionals too. And so that's where like the roguelike nature comes up of just, you beat it once, now try it again with these other conditions.
Well, I am glad that you are ripping and tearing through the wild world of poker.
Yeah, I'm gonna go to the casino after and just be like, ooh, real life Balatro.
Ooh, this is exactly how it works. I'm gonna make $1 million bajillion.
Sir, why are you playing this credit card on the field?
Let's see.
Sir, you can't take all those chips. You only played a 2-pair. Nah, don't worry, I got my multiplayer on. Sir, we're gonna have to escort you out.
Not until you see my new Joker.
And it's a gun.
Oh boy. So the gaming things that I've been getting up to lately. I played all the way through Arzette, which I streamed that. The full playthrough is on our YouTube channel. If you go onto our website or our YouTube channel, you can look at it and see that I've been fucking playing the hell out of, I played the hell out of that game. I 100%ed it. And I wrote a full review also on the site. Go to that site, gamesline.net. Yeah, I did the whole kit caboodle. the creators read my review and they were like, damn, this guy gets it. And I was like, yeah, I do. Listen, I was in the trenches. Okay? They made a game that was like, yeah, we love YouTube poop, but we also love CDI Zelda as a thing. We love that it exists in all forms. And they succeeded at making that, but good. But I would say it's more than that, because it is that, but good with heart. Like, it just is, it's a very loving piece of media, Arzette is. And I've spoken a lot about it. It's all on the site. It's all on the stream. People are starting to make YouTube poops out of it. Like, that's the beauty. Like, we're starting to see it. It's happening. It's real.
We've truly done it.
Like, brings a tear to your eye just thinking about it. No, I dug it a whole lot. I'm hopefully getting the physical with the fucking controller. I don't know if I'll play all the way through it again, but I gotta get that fucking controller. Oh my god. They're just making a CDI controller that you could just use on your Switch and or PC.
Really committing to it, which, I gotta say.
Fully committing to the bit. This game. It is extreme committing in the best possible way.
Yeah.
And the other thing that I've been doing is, for the past while, I think I talked about it a little bit before, but I've been going to Arcade UFO, which is a local gaming arcade. That is not the one that I work at. It is a different one. And I have been doing commentary runs on their Grand Blue Fantasy monthlies. It's been kind of tough just because it's like a once per month thing, so I'm still pretty rusty, and it is very much a different breed than podcasting. Like, when I first sat down, I was like, I wasn't like cocky or anything, but I was like, okay, I have my experience doing podcasting for like a decade. Excuse me. And I have all this experience podcasting. And this is a different beast, but I can take what I've done before and apply it to this. And really, you're just applying the skill of talking. That is what you're applying. It is very different, very, very different. You have to react to the second by second things that are going on. You have to be able to explain why choices are important, why that mess up screwed them over, kind of gameplay that these people are having, and it helps to get to know these players. Like, again, I've only been there a few times, but like, I'm starting to get to know how different people play, and that helps with your commentary, because it's just like, yeah, you can point out like, yeah, see, normally he does this, but in this round he's actually doing this because he's trying to, go up, do this against his opponent. You have to know the game, you have to know the characters, you have to know the players, you have to know the terminology, and you also have to be quick about it. It is a lot. But I feel like I have started to learn. I will not say that I have learned. Absolutely not. But I'm starting to learn how to do that a lot better. I like doing it a lot. It is very fun. It's harrowing. It is fucking harrowing though. Just thinking about, like, I don't want to be to the fucking commentator's curse person. I don't want to screw someone over. I don't want to say something wrong, but at the same time, man, it's exhilarating just being there, watching these matches, and getting to see some fucking good Grand Blue. People there are good.
Yeah, I think it's been awesome to see you, like, definitely lean into it as well. Commentary is something that is so difficult for sure. I think part of it is sort of part of it is this improv nature that comes up of just needing to follow the flow of something else that's going on and get the immediate bits as best as you can to your audience, which can be a whole array of like people that are experts down to people that are like tuning in for the first time, maybe, and seeing what a fighting game is all about.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've not made a full plunge myself into like fighting games. I would say that like, recently of the games that I was also picking up, I got into Tekken a little bit. Been trying to play more Tekken 8. It's definitely still less than I would want to, but it's definitely been one where it's like, okay, between Tekken 8 and Street Fighter 6, let me try and get more invested in what's going on at the grander level. And so I've been watching more streams, I've been watching more tournaments as well, and that in itself is another sort of pickup of just like seeing these communities in action and also getting a feel for, what are the most important pieces that come out of any game when you're watching it. Like, I know when you were bringing it up in one of our like Discords, I actually linked to a Sajam video where he was talking a little bit about like those intricacies and commentary. And even after like watching that, whenever I like truly like start to listen in, there is that aspect of trying to find the right moments to get in, understanding your partner's flow, and being able to like have that back and forth if there is anything that comes up, especially for like building the anticipation and creating the story within the game itself, within the tournament, so that people can follow. It's a very interesting way to like promote storytelling as a skill, to promote not just the game that you're playing, but the people that are also involved in it. It's like, it's thanks in part to the commentators that you have a situation like Arslan Ash becoming just this like breath of air for Tekken as a scene, not just because of the game itself, but also because of the reality that, there's a whole other location of people playing this game that we just never really like noticed until now, and they are now part of that global conversation. Last night I was catching up with the ARC World Tour, so like Grand Blue Fantasy tournament, Guilty Gear Strive tournament, and there it was similar. Just this story about the ultimate winner being from Senegal, and that final match being Senegal versus Saudi Arabia. And not only that, you just have the general like fact that in Strive, one of your like consistent top 8 players is Umisho, who is trans, and that rules in terms of just seeing sort of like what I notice at least, which is a very like male dominated what can be a male-dominated space at the higher level. But then, in part, you also have stuff like Sajam's Tekken Slam, where he just ran like a round-robin team-based Tekken tournament. But everyone that was included was like high-end streamers, like Lily Pichu, Disguised Toast, Rosemi from Niji Sanji, Victoria Brightshield. Shout out her, because Wheels did her animation for her debut. So there's that. But we're one step removed from. Oh, I don't want to say that. But like people that are famous for other reasons that have such high stream numbers, for the folks that matter. But, like, you have them all tuning into this fighting game, and that is such a good moment to be able to say, like, hey, and I think the FGC has always been like this for a while. Just, we want to show you, we want to include you, let's, try and get that in. To the fact that, like, you see it from a lot of, like, the top creators as well, just this general interest and wanting to share that interest with people. It's awesome to like really see that start to bloom, not just in the quality of like the matches that you see, the ways that sometimes you will just get an unknown person pop up and start to create their own story. It also comes in just like the general presentation. I also got to shout out the Red Bull Kumite for Street Fighter 6, which It was happening up in Greenpoint. I couldn't get a ticket, but watching the live stream was so much fun because of the fact they committed to this like whole aesthetic of like it's the big city. We got this taxi cab. The players are going to come in through the taxi cab, and then they're going to walk down to the stage, which has like this huge cage around it. Everyone's going to have a moment to like, talk their smack. But then the commentators, Rob TV and Long Island Joe, are going to be like these assholes and just like do the talking down, do the smack talk to like give the audience a collective like heel to root against. Like Big Bird, was it one of the birds, Big Bird or Angry Bird? No, it was Big Bird. I'll say it was Big Bird. Was for context, Big Bird and Angry Bird are two UAE streamers. So from like the Arab Emirates, who are like big Street Fighter 6 players, have been in the scene for I think like a minute, but are just really showing some dominance. Big Bird got shut down like early in that finals, but Angry Bird wasn't able to come because of like sickness. So he's walking from the stage back to like the end. He has to give up his card. Like they have these like little battle cards that they have. You have to give them back, and like for other losers, Long Island Joe has just like been throwing them into a trash can and telling them to go home. In this case, he's like, nah, you know what? Keep that card, give it to the better bird. Everyone is just like, whoa, boo this guy. And everyone that loses gets like shoved back into the taxi. You have another commentator, Z, I believe his name is, who is like the cabbie, and he's just like, hey man, you lost. I just wanted to do a quick interview. We got this space before I'm going to get you back to the airport. What was it like? Do you have anything to say back to the fans? Just so much showmanship that really, really just added to the energy. And it's awesome that fighting games are getting this now. That we're really, seeing, I think, what's always been a vital source of just esports in general, and what I would argue like the best esport to watch, like it's getting its momentum, and it's really just becoming a scene, and it rules.
It's very cool. I love it.
Fighting games are awesome, dude.
Fighting games are so fucking cool. We'll always love it. Yeah, I'm very glad that we are to be able to experience fighting games in new ways. Like in a way that I'm sitting there and watching and commentating and all that, and I don't feel as pressured to win too. That's very nice. I mean, like I'm going there and playing. I'm getting my ass beat. Once I get my ass beat, I can pick up my. I've been using a hitbox now, by the way. I could pick up my hitbox. I can put it away. And I could talk, and I can enjoy fighting games from that different perspective. And I think that's really exciting. But I would also like to learn more.
I'm willing for the John Tasty Steve meetup. I'm waiting for that co-commentary.
I'll put on like some form of arm protection before I get on there. Don't worry. Right. Okay. So there's. I guess we could talk real quick about the fighting game news that happened, because you mentioned the Arc World Tour. They didn't announce anything for Granblue because they announced most of it previously. They did their big Granblue showcase and all that. 2B came out. Like,
the next two. 2B came out. The next two DLC characters that are coming out, Vance and the other one, are. Just like, the rough time that they're supposed to come out. I believe Vans is now slated for like first week of April. So like in the next 2 weeks.
Soon. Yeah.
Like that's the update versus like a whole unveiling, which, for Guilty Gear.
Granblue has their own events to do this stuff. That's what it was. They had their own event. They announced that stuff previously. Guilty Gear is going to get talked about during the Arc World Tour. So, they announced the next character, which is A.B.A. and she's going to be added in like a week.
I think literally 2 days.
Okay, yeah, she's going to be in the game very, very soon. She there's controversy brewing about A.B.A. Her hair is green and long now, instead of that like short red hair that she's always had. I'm gonna be honest, I'm not a fan. I think the haircut was part of the character design that was really striking. Didn't even need to be the same color. She could. The green hair isn't the problem. It's the haircut. That's just my opinion. But she's wacky as all hell in this. She's all up on her key that she wants to suck in a strange and mysterious way. Incredible facial animation on this woman. Yeah. A.B.A. fans rejoice. And then right at the end of the Arc World Tour, they announced this like pretty early on in it, and then at the end they were like, "Hey, guess what? We got another trailer." And it wasn't really a trailer, it was just like a teaser, I should say. They showed the silhouette of the last character for Season 3, who is... They have bats floating around them. It is like 95 to 99% Slayer. There's like... It might be some silly joke that they are pulling. Because, you know, who knows, maybe it's just like, oh, hey, it's Venom, and, like, the bats are actually billiard balls with wings, you know? I don't know.
So it was funny, in the actual, like, live stream for the show, they played that teaser, like, everyone that was in the commentary was like, oh, we were, like, not able to fully see it, who was that? And then the camera that they have, like, for... like going on crowd shots and stuff, zooms in on this one like Slayer cosplayer and just is lingering there. And the commentator's like, "Oh, okay, I guess it's Slayer because of the cosplay, right?" And they're like, "Yeah."
That's very funny. So yeah, I guess it's pretty sure it's Slayer, unless it's some silly double cross there. But then they also announced, hey, guess what? We're doing a season 4. So there will be more characters. I did see some people claiming that Daisuke said that if the game did well, he would want to bring back everybody. Like, bring back everyone that made sense. So, you know, like, not any of the dead characters, but, like, all of the old characters will return, most likely. Because, yeah, Strive is huge, and it continues to be huge. So I could absolutely see them just being like, yeah, we're bringing everybody back. Which is nice, you know, good for fans of every character in Guilty Gear, I suppose. It will be cool too if they, you know, do new characters as well, because, like, you know, for as annoying he is to play against /see in Grand Finals, Happy Chaos is a cool character. They finally, like, after years and years, you can play as that man. Like, big things are happening all the time in Guilty Gear Strive. So yeah, I guess we'll see what that shakes out for.
That we shall.
I don't know. Was there other fighting game news recently? I'm trying to think. I mean, they had
Ed came out like a while back.
Yeah, Ed came out, and Akuma's gonna be out soon, so that'll be the first season of Street Fighter 6 done already. How are people feeling about Ed? I haven't paid too much attention to Street Fighter 6 recently. What's the mood on him?
A little bit back, I was actually on stream, no mic, but like I was testing out some characters with Jackson for Street Fighter 6.
Mm-hmm.
I might be a Rashid main, is what I found out.
Hell yeah, Rashid's great.
Oh, enough times you see that level 2, which is him like summoning up a big like slow moving tornado, and realizing that is like a pseudo Aegis reflector, and learning how to do like some pressure on that.
Oh yeah,
that is going to be my goal, to like figure that out. But no, like very fun motion from this character. Ed seems really cool. I think the thing I heard the most was that for like I think the general breakdown is that he has like the worst jabs. Like his light kick, or sorry, no, light punch is just like the worst in terms of damage output. I think in terms of reach, like I've seen some people like try and show off some combo moves, but just like the actual distance because of where his jab lands makes it so that you can't actually like hit the rest of your combo.
Huh.
It's weird,
Okay.
and I'm sure it's something that's going to be picked up once like the full in-game patch comes out after Akuma gets released. But like it is like that's probably going to be like after Evo as well, or like right after Akuma comes out, like
Right.
Either one of those two times probably. But you know, Ed seems interesting. You have a full boxer in the game now. I think the idea, you know, he is supposed to be sort of like this full other person as opposed to like Balrog was more of just like the what is it? Balrog is Mike Tyson, who has like one specific style. Dudley more resembling of Patrick Dempsey, who is a more of like the peekaboo style Dempsey roll and all that. So like two iterations of boxing. Ed comes up with more of this like Hitman like flicker jab style. So you're getting some like differentiation there. I think people are like excited for the idea of Dudley coming back, excited for the idea of like a lot of characters I think from Third Strike could come back. Apparently there was some leak that was out, but it was like through someone else with the same name, I think, and it was just something about it where it just had a lot of like, oh, this character's coming back, even though it's like, why would they? Are we really going to have Balrog or Bison back in 6? You know, is that the move they're going to go for? I don't know. But yeah, just a lot of tournaments, a lot of like characters that are coming out. There was that like video of that one game in development that's like a 1v1 Hyper Fighter equivalent to like MVC, like wanting to be like a Marvel, but my main comment there is like you gotta steady the camera is one thing. Boost your light up. It's too damn dark.
It wants to be something. I don't think it's succeeding, you know?
That's the thing, and I don't want to be too harsh of like, oh, just fucking give up. Why are you? No, like, especially with fighting games, that's coming from a place of love. That's coming from a place of getting to know the game so well that like you know what you want to iterate on, which is interesting to see come through also. But yeah, I don't know, just it's an in development thing. I will let them cook for as long as they need to, so that hopefully by the time like I hear anything about a wish listing or a like release date, I can look at it and be like, yeah, that seems neat.
Yeah, make a full judgment once it's like in a better state, I suppose.
Yeah, like we definitely need indie fighters to just be around.
Yeah,
because you know everyone's going to hop on multiverses.
Yeah, you know it's back almost. I think
it's coming back. Everyone's going to hop on 2XKO.
The worst name of all time. I think it's up there. It's got to be up there as the worst ever. Like holy shit,
it's bad.
It's really bad. All right. Okay. 2 more bits of news here. Both of them bad in different ways. First off, you know, in the interim since we last recorded, we lost a true icon, a true artist, Akira Toriyama, the creator of such things as Dragon Freaking Ball, Dr. Slump, Sandland, worked on Dragon Quest, Chrono Trigger, Tobal 1 and 2. So many things. Blue Dragon. Y'all remember Blue Dragon? He was on that shit. He passed away at the beginning of the month. Or like right at the end of February? No, he died on March.
I want to
1st.
say beginning
March
of
1st.
March, and
Yeah.
then was a week before it got announced.
Correct. Yeah. I mean, it seemed to have been very sudden. It was a subdural hematoma, which usually happens due to injury. So it sounds like he might have, it's perhaps in bad taste to speculate, but at the very least, it was very sudden, very sudden. And I mean, he was still working on stuff. Like he was. What I mean, I know he wasn't as like hands on with Dragon Ball as he used to be, but I mean, he was contributing character designs and all that to like recent movies and games. Like he designed Android 21. He designed like the new characters for Superhero. He was working on the Sandland anime like just came out, and he was working on that, and there's going to be a game for that too.
Yeah.
There's the Dragon Ball, that new Dragon Ball series, the anime that's coming out, Daimo or whatever, is that what it's called?
Dragon Ball Daimo.
Yeah, he was involved with that. Like this was absolutely just out of nowhere. Like he was, I mean, yeah, he was 68, but dude was still creating and inspiring people up until right when he passed. And yeah, like, I mean, I rattled off stuff that he was involved in, and like he created some of the like most iconic things you can think of. Like people pointed this out, and I never really thought about it, and it's true though. Like the like funny little piles of poop that he drew, that's the poo emoji. Like he was so influential that like when you think of poop, you think of something that he did. When you think of a slime, like I think it showed like Yuji Horii like came up with like a more standard like fantasy slime creature, and then Akira Toriyama just shot him back the Dragon Quest slime, and it was just like, oh no, you're right, never mind, no, this is perfect. And like now you think about Dragon Quest, you think about the slime, you think about how all those characters look, all those monsters look, and it's his design. You think about one of the characters of all time, Son Goku Kakarot, that people continue to bring up as the strongest character ever. Like, Dragon Ball has its flaws, do not get it twisted, but everyone can sit down and think of like 5 scenes in Dragon Ball that are like the tightest thing you've ever seen. And they've made a million games about that. You got Sparking Zero coming out soon,
Yep.
He has touched so many things that all of us have interacted with, and like genuinely he is absolutely one of the great like creators, mangaka of all time. And it's a shame that he's gone, but at the same time it's amazing that he lived. And so, rest in peace, and the big thanks to Akira Toriyama for all that he did. I gotta watch that Sandland cartoon.
Yeah, I think of the like it is definitely not my wheelhouse to like attach myself to a celebrity or like to just like sit there and think about what's going on. It is now like a few weeks after the initial news. I remember, I was just hanging out at home. I see it come up, and I'm just like, damn, what a moment.
Mm-hmm.
Or like, damn, what a time to like, be here right now getting this news. And then I just sit on it, and it like is weighing on me, just like, the amount of times I was exposed to Dragon Ball, the amount of times that just like Chrono Trigger, I think, was the first RPG that I really like leaned into and felt comfortable with, that like I finished it, and that like helped to really get me interested in JRPGs. I could go on this whole thing, but it's just like the actual like weight of just like what I was able to like, relish in from his work. It just like, took me a minute, but I eventually was just like distraught. It was like I lost somebody.
Yeah.
The timing of it definitely like fucked me up for other reasons, but what makes me like this makes me think the most of just like the news of Jim Henson's death way back when, and how it was like a public event. You know, there was services and all, but it's like you can go on YouTube and look up the funeral or like the memorial for Jim Henson, which is such a past, like it is such this combination of like collective grief, of wanting to celebrate, of finding something to enjoy and to appreciate. Like one of the things in his will apparently was that, you know, no one will come to my funeral dressed in black, wear the brightest attire that you can, wear color, make it a celebration. I believe at the beginning too, he has like the Dirty Dozen brass band like play him in. Like it just from like the documentaries and stuff that are like also out there, of course, it's like he was someone that definitely believed in the power of creativity, believed in just this optimism through work or through creation that, you know, can get you through what you like need to do, alongside the other stuff, of course, that comes up. And I'm not gonna like spend too much time there, but this is all to say, you know, I probably felt what like a Muppet fan in like their late 20s was feeling, you know, the time that you got the news of just like my childhood was shaped predominantly by this one person, not only because of the work that they themselves did, but the influence that they had on everything else to come after.
I mean, yeah, like this past issue of Shonen Jump was like all the mangaka eulogizing him, you know, like Oda, you know, from One Piece, you know, he's still out there creating One Piece, and, you know, dude worked with Toriyama multiple times and, you know, was obviously heartbroken and talked about it on like multiple occasions. And the Kagurabachi guy fucking just saying, oh man, like thanks for making Dragon Ball so I can wail on the gacha game that's currently active.
Yeah.
God, I think I gotta start reading Kagurabachi too. Just like that guy
it's getting its first volume out.
Yeah. Oh boy, but yeah, no. You know, huge bummer. But again, at the same time, like I just can't help but think about all the amazing things that Akira Toriyama worked on. That, you know, I grew up like, yeah, like I think about, you know, and I don't want to get too sappy, but like, yeah, like I just remember like you know, like when I was younger and watching DBZ with my dad growing up, and just how fucking much we loved it. Because like my dad also loved pro wrestling a lot. So just thinking about like that overlap with like how fucking crazy DBZ gets. And
well, yeah, because he's like Toriyama was also a huge pro wrestling fan.
Yeah,
like you can find little like snippets, or like what there's that one promo of like Arale like hanging out with Stan Hansen.
Yeah, exactly.
Throwing up the horns.
Very good stuff. Yeah, I mean, I like the thing about Dragon Ball. I just sit there and I think about, when I think about it, is I'm just like, man, that is like a series where you could just sit down with somebody and you could just start talking about like their favorite moments, and you can bond with somebody over that. You could just be like, yeah, my favorite was when, you know, Tien did the Tri-Beam to Cell, and like someone will be like, oh no, my favorite moment's like when Android 18 kicked Vegeta's arm so hard she broke it and knocked him out of Super Saiyan. Like, you could just list shit. You could just think about all the cool shit that happens. Like, oh, my favorite's the, you know, Goku going Super Saiyan for the first time. Like, oh, my favorite's, you know, like the Goku sacrificing himself with Piccolo and Raditz and all that. Like, yeah, there's just so many cool moments you could just bring up. and you could just bond with people. You can understand them on a better level just because you're just like, yeah, this is what it was cool to you. So that says something about you as a person, in a way. And I think that's beautiful.
One of the realists to do it, you know.
And one last bit of news here. I think the last episode we did, we were talking about the Yuzu and Nintendo lawsuit that was going on. Well, that closed. Yuzu has to. I don't know if they have already or just will have to pay $2.4 million to Nintendo in damages. And they shut down the official Yuzu website. And Yuzu and Citra, the 3DS emulator, are no more officially. There are forks out there, though. It's pretty easy to just they still exist. They basically still exist. It's still out there. You just got to look a little bit. I mean, I'm not a legal expert. There are, of course, like on a moral sense. On a strictly moral sense, it sucks that a developer or a developer and a producer of games and consoles throws around their weight like this to shut down emulation and things that can lead to protection of games in the future. You know, like you want these things to not just vanish into the ether if the Switch eShop goes down, or etc., etc. At the same time, like it does seem like Yuzu was doing a lot of really boneheaded things to bring attention to themselves and also to sort of drum up their own, like they were trying to make bunch of money off of this. And they were like very openly being like, "Hey, folks, you're gonna be able to play Tears of the Kingdom day one on Yuzu. You know, like don't buy it. It's just gonna be here." That doesn't seem very smart. But yeah, like I said, like on a pure moral sense, it is just like it's not great. You look at like Sony. There's been rumors going around that they are going to be bringing like better PS2 emulation to the PS5, and they're straight up working with people that worked on PCX2. They're the PS2 emulator for PC, and I mean that is a little different because you know it's not their current console, but it's still a similar venture there. Very frustrating stuff. It didn't truly change anything except for, you know, the Tropic Haze folks having to pay a lot of money. But yeah, I mean, like I said, there's forks out there already of Yuzu.
Yeah, I think like ultimately, you know, the thing I get out of it is that it's frustrating to both see the elevation. Like, at the end of the day, the thing that I find so frustrating, it's like the work to make these games accessible to more people beyond, you know, the confines of hardware is work that, honestly, I wouldn't mind, you know, paying for. Is work that I wouldn't mind providing, like, the space to do so. Because, yeah, it's, like, tough. It is arduous work to do that, as any software job is. But then I think it's the matter of it being in such a general gray zone where, you know, it's like, it's then the discussion of like, is this about copyright? Is this about IP? Is it about all these different things? And the answer is like, it can be, but ultimately it's just like, it's the fact that what is being done makes it so that, you know, people don't feel like they need to just give money to Nintendo. And there is, I think, a level to which that is like, okay, like everything performs from a loss. There's an understanding that to make money, you have to spend money, and that expenditure is more of a gradual gain. But then, you know, I say that, I think a lot of current business folks kind of just forget that part and are very just unruly with their penny pitching to the point that it affects the overall quality of what it is that they're trying to make money off of. But then it is also just like these stark business practices that, like I said at the beginning, it is less that they are being done in particular, but more that they are allowed to do these things with zero reprimand. And like, it sucks that we have to talk about how it's like, oh, lucky that Yuzu didn't like take this to a full-on case. They just had to settle out an amount that is like next, that like regularly will just like, shut people down if you are trying to make a business.
Yeah.
Like, the fact that our courts allow for that space and make it so that, it can't just be this case of like, man, you shouldn't do this. However, we're not seeing it that closely. Or it's like, oh, the wording of it makes it so that we can't necessarily engage. Again, all these gray zones, but there's just enough litigation, I think, that is also in the favor of larger corporations that makes it so these things happen. And that is frustrating.
It's just a frustrating thing all around. Copyright law. Copyright law. That's all I'm gonna say. Alright, well, let me check one last time to see if we got any questions. I mean, we did get a submission that was Cello Buster sending us the "It's been 3,000 years" picture of AZ from Pokemon Gen 6, but with the Gamesline logo. A little humor. Which I appreciate. Man, wait. Oh, did we get to talk about the fucking Pokemon stuff? I don't even think we did. I believe
you did.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And I'm excited for that game. If you haven't guessed.
Nah, fair. Appreciate it,
Switch 2, baby. It's time. I'm ready for them to announce that shit. Come on. I know we just talked a bunch of shit about you, Nintendo, but give me the goods, please. Yeah, no, this year has been so far, it's been a lot. It's been a lot, and hopefully things get fixed up for us in general. Like, I would love for this to just be, hey, Gamesline is doing a podcast every week and putting out stuff constantly, like, I would love for that, but not happening just yet.
Yeah, I mean,
we'll try to figure it out.
I think ultimately, as we've been talking about in general, and I think is highlighted as well by, like, last year we saw Solon take his leave. I think it's a recognition that right now we are in the fact that last year we even got the site, to be Gamesline. We made an initial push of what we want this to look like, and I think that ultimately is still the ethos.
Yeah.
What's coming next, and I think what we are going to try and like look inward for after Game of the Year is all said and done, is just like, how do we, I think, recognize what the current landscape of games and writing in games is, and how do we want to engage with it? We're patron supported, independently funded. That helps to pay for the site. That helps to pay for any like games that we do want to try and like look into for further purchase. It would be awesome for it to, grow to a point that it can pay for trips to gaming events, to pay for lodging, to pay for expenses. Obviously, when you see sites like Aftermath, Remap, Nextlander, solo acts like Jeff Gersman, the idea seems to be, oh, you want this to become a livelihood. And not to say that that wouldn't be fun, but I think it's recognizing that we are a large staff. but then we are also folks that are kind of just doing other things. And so figuring out the balance of like, what is a push for a lot of things. We want to take the time to take our little train and make it the best that it can be. Again, to use my other metaphor, I think we're realizing that the foundation is still there. We just got to figure out how to build it out.
Right. And that's going to be internal stuff. So I'm sorry, y'all ain't gonna hear us figuring it out. We're stretching our legs. We're gonna be chatting about what we're doing. You're not gonna hear any of it because it's all internal. It's all important soul searching. All right, so you guys.
All I'm saying
wait.
Is if you check out the TikTok and John's wearing hot pants on it, just know that we're looking for growth.
Of course. I still have not used TikTok. I still don't have that.
That demon has only entered my phone for the purposes of trying to get survey money.
Not a bad idea.
Did not engage with it anyway to fuel an algorithm. And again, not for the but China reasons. More the dog that like.
I'm gonna be 30.
That's a landscape.
I'm gonna be 30 very soon. I don't need to.
And to anyone that told her, don't worry, you're 35.
Yeah. Look, it's fine. I mean, maybe there's something there. Maybe I could look into it eventually, but I don't know. I don't want to crack open that particular can of worms yet.
It's the fact for every one funny thing, you just get like possible exposure to 50 unfunny or just draining things.
Yeah.
That's a bad ratio. For every flexible fat man, you just get some other person trying to sound like the smartest person in the room.
Yeah.
Maybe it is a good thing that like China has access to this, because honestly, all the good TikToks have just been Chinese.
That is true. Yeah.
So we got Pongzai. It's do you ever see the one about those dudes playing in the river?
No, that does sound really good though.
Oh, there's one where it's like they're split up in teams of 2. And the game is like, there's one guy. So it's like a little like riverbank that's like hollowed out to be like steps. And so like the 2 teams, one has like a sandbag. The other one is like the guy. And then whoever's like jumping up. They're playing rock, paper, scissors, shoot. And if the step team wins, they get to do like another like 2 steps. If the sandbag team wins, they get to like, or it's like a pillow or whatever. They get to take that pillow, like, get it nice and damp from like the mud water, hit the guy that's down the steps, and try and make him fall back to the base of the river. Dudes rock.
Yeah.
Have you even seen the ones recently of like the dude with like the white kids?
Yeah, I was going to bring that up, where it's just some like Chinese store owner just like hanging out with the like local neighborhood kids and like teaching them
it's
about
gotta be in like England or something, but it's like
he's like teaching them about the fucking 5 tiger generals. It's so good. Like dude's doing fucking it's so good.
They're gonna go hang out with Tiger Conqueror of the East, Dion.
Yeah, oh my god.
Oh, dude. I'll say it, like, my favorite one is the one of, like, that dude making a curry and then he throws the, like, lid into, like, the frozen river. That's just a classic.
It's good. There's a lot of good stuff out there. If you have a TikTok, we do have a TikTok. I mean, Elfie's in charge of that TikTok. That is the main thing that I kind of want to check out. I want to see. I don't know how to look at TikToks without having the app, so I can't even see what she's doing.
It's a very cumbersome.
They don't want
process.
you to do that. They don't want you to do that. They want you to do it on the app. I get it, but I want to watch. I want to watch what Elvie's doing on TikTok. I literally don't know what she does on there because I can't look at it.
Again, you can sign up for an account. You can watch it on like the website. It is just going to be like such a beleaguered experience.
Yeah, Like, I don't know. I don't need people like looking at me and explaining concepts. I'm good, you know. I don't need to.
And then there's just the again. It's like it is not that the site itself is good; it's that people have been able to make their pockets.
Yeah,
like I can sing the praises of Vine because everyone was under the 6-second time constraint.
Yeah, the constraint.
And so, if you sank or swam, that was your own fault.
Mm-hmm.
But here everyone has 3 minutes, and not everyone knows how to use them. But another highlight, the dude that just is like doing flips and shit at like the club looks like a fucking dude looks like a boss encounter that you have 3 separate times in the game to show how much you've progressed.
Mm-hmm.
It says like that one song from The Matrix. It's such a club to death. I had to bookmark it because I just saw it in a tweet that's labeled literally this is what snorting coke feels like.
God.
Because it's just dude doing backflips and pull-ups in the middle of a party. There's one shot where he's pretending to get hit and getting back up. My favorite bit is he sets up for a backflip, fucks up the landing, but does a real life ukemi to try and cover it up.
You gotta do what you gotta do. Yeah. Whew. All right. Well, thank you so much for listening, everybody. I cannot promise that we'll be back next week, but at the very least, I can promise that we will continue to do stuff. I mean, we're setting up for releasing the Game of the Year content. That should be, I don't know when, but soonish.
Soonish, hopefully. We are looking at end of the month, but,
Yeah.
They're saying it now, and then there is actually when you'll hear it.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
I've been trying to do weekly streams. I've done it the past 3 or 4 weeks now? 3? I think 3. Yeah.
About, yeah.
I did the 2 Arzette streams, and then I streamed myself playing fucking My World My Way, the DS game, where you play as the bratty princess that can whine to win things and to change the outcome of things. It's very silly. I don't know if I'll play that again, but, we'll see. We'll see where it takes us this Wednesday. I've been doing it every Wednesday.
Yeah.
And that's on twitch.tv/Gamesline TV if you want to check that out. It's also up on YouTube, youtube.com/@thegamesline, because I've been putting them up there. I still have to put the My World My Way one up, but the Arzette streams, those are both up there. You can watch that whole thing. You can also check out all that stuff on Gamesline.net. It's got writing, it's got news, reviews, the videos, the podcasts, everything's on there. Follow us on Twitter @thegamesline. Our Tumblr, gamesline.tumblr.com. Honestly, even if you're not even that into what we're posting, Gamesline Tumblr is just good to see good shit. Because we're just retweeting funny posts and good video game art on there. That's just a good page. Facebook.com/Gamesline if you're on Facebook. If you want to support us monetarily, Patreon.com/Gamesline. The more we get, the more we can push into this. I know that, this is something that is more of a hobby for a lot of us, but we can potentially move forward faster and stronger with more funds. So we're just asking for $3 a month. And hopefully we'll be able to get back onto Unlimited Railworks, our anime podcast, soon. I want to get on there. We talked about anime a lot on this episode. I know we were talking about Akira Toriyama specifically, but I didn't realize how bad I wanted to talk about anime. I'm man, I miss it now. I understand what was missing.
I would say in general as well, spring has sprung, and so the want to do more is slowly getting eked out.
Yes.
But also, yeah, will not say I'm necessarily jonesing for the Patreon to become my paycheck. But as one Ray Schmuckle says, give me some walking around money.
Some walking around money. Figure that out.
You like our product.
That would be nice. Our Discord is thegamezone.zone. Type that into your web browser. It'll bring you straight there. And you can tell us how you're feeling about what's going on. You know, you could do that. We'll listen. We'll hear you out.
I'm checking in. Go ahead.
Thank you to Melt. Thank you to Melt Channel.
Again, that was another TikTok. Steve from Blue's Clues was like doing like a check-in, but that was when everyone's like, "What the fuck is this?" And it's like, you're not wrong, but I also understand the intent, and also everyone just needs to be on their phones less.
Yeah. Anywho. Thank you to Melt Channel Magic Circuit for a theme song Crush off of the album Magic is Real. If you want to listen to their stuff, it's meltchannel.bandcamp.com or magic-circuit.bandcamp.com. And that's it. Welcome back to us, for now at least. We'll see what happens, but we'll be back in the future with another episode of the Gamesline podcast. So long.